as go forward, obviously have a week of game film with Brian Odom and Sean and Aaron TC. Was there anything that you saw that kind of gives you an indication or just any feelings of what this defense could be? You talk about that concept, just moving forward, having a game change.
Yeah, I think the biggest positive in the game was we did some really good things in the run game. I mean, we held a team that's really good running the football quite a bit under their average. One of the big goals for us going into the game was not give up explosive plays in the run game, and we did a really nice job of that. So I thought some of the adjustments that the coaches made, the kids made, showed up in that regard. Now, obviously, that's got to carry over to the pass defense, and we've got to limit it there. But I thought that, looking at the game, to me, was the single biggest improvement that was made. And yeah, sure you can. I mean, it's, you think about these systems and all that. I mean, it takes, months and months and at times, years and years of players to get them to play at a high level. So, all of a sudden you're making a couple of tweaks here in a short amount of time, and kind of doing it in the middle, playing some really good competition. So, but we've got to make week 2 of it our advantage. We've got to be better at it. The staff's got to be better. Like, everything should be a little bit cleaner this week. And we were very clear with the guys of what they did well on Monday. We were very clear on the things that have to improve if we are going to play the way that we expect to play on Saturday.
Lincoln, you haven't had many extended losing stretches in your time as a coach. Going back to 2010, I think was the last time that you had like a stretch kind of like this.
Yeah.
I wondered that experience. What do you remember about that stretch, and maybe what did you learn as a coach going through that once before?
Yeah, no, that was probably the toughest year, that I've had as a coach, and it's year 2 at East Carolina. We'd gotten off. It was maybe in some ways similar to this. The program wasn't in a tough place like this one was when we took it over, but we'd had a decent first year. Came back second year, had a bunch of injuries, a bunch of things didn't go our way. We didn't play well at times. We lost a couple of really close ones. I remember it was a really tough year to go through. I'd never been through anything like that. I was kind of down in the dumps for a while, honestly. What came out of that, though, was, I think it pushed me to be better. It pushed the program to be better. We found some guys that were really, really tough, hard-minded kids, especially some of the young guys in that program at the time that then, took off to becoming kind of what we became the next several years. So it really became a springboard there, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that I learned from it. And then I think that you gotta, I was young then, or younger. I like to think younger, but I, like a lot of people, at that point, I rode the emotional roller coaster as a coach. I just hadn't been through it enough yet, especially when I had the type of responsibility like I had there. I didn't have probably as much perspective. Now I stay a little bit more even keeled, because I know what the good is. Like, I know what the bad is. I know what we got to do to fix it. I know what it's going to take. I know that we're going to get it done, and you've got to be able to take any situation that comes up. Again, whether you win a close game, you make that play at the end or you don't, there's still a whole lot else that's going to have to continue to improve to go where we want to go, and I know that, and I know we're going to get there. So it's just kind of one day at a time right now. Put the right foot in front of the left and just keep moving. And you do that, you got the right people, you're at the right place, then good things are going to happen, and that's what's going to happen here.
One of the biggest things that you emphasized this offseason was bringing in competitive depth to this program. As you come off a game this season, is probably where the depth has been tested the most. How do you assess the job that you guys did bringing in that depth this offseason, both at the transfer and high school level?
I think some of the depth has shown on the offensive line. We play obviously some different units, some different guys. We've been able to withstand a season-ending injury early in the year to one of our starters, and I would say honestly kind of the same thing on the defensive line really as well. I mean, you lose a starter, and Solo right there at the beginning of the year, and so yeah, I mean, I think there's been some positives there. I think is there areas where we want more, and do we have to be better in those spots? Yes. I think the secondary is one of the groups. Obviously, the other day it was fairly extreme. It's one of those I don't know if it matters how many people you have, if you've got the number of people out or limited that we had. But yeah, I think it's better, but needs to get better, and that's going to be a year-by-year process to continue to build all these rooms.
Coach, do you have any update on Sierra Wright?
I don't. He's not with us right now, but that's all that I can say.
Is there any urge to kind of see what you have with the younger players who maybe haven't played as much throughout the first part of the season now and in the bowl game?
Bowl game is probably a different conversation. Specifically for a lot of these guys because it doesn't count in terms of their 4-game redshirt. Right now, it's anything we can do, any player that we can use to go play well and win this game this Saturday, and that's been the focus now. So, we're now if we've got guys in any positions that aren't playing at a high level or not getting it done, and we've got somebody that we want to take a look at, we're not going to hesitate. Even though the importance of this game coming up, yeah, you're probably talking about two different conversations.
What have you thought of the job that Chip has done at UCLA this season? Obviously turning around the defense with the offense has had some issues.
Yeah, it's hard to time it out sometimes where it all clicks at the same time, and they've obviously had some different lineups, obviously the different quarterbacks and all that offensively, and they obviously lost some really good players from last year's offense. So. That's probably where it lies there. I'm not there, so I don't want to pretend I know what's happened. Defensively, they've done a really nice job. I mean, they got a tremendous front seven. Those guys have stayed healthy. They've been consistent, and they've really driven that defense. And they've got some good play out of the back end as well, and just been really, really consistent. So yeah, I mean, they've done a really good job, and it shows you. When you get that right group together and you can get a little bit of momentum like they have defensively, you can really push it and ride it on any side of the ball, and you got to give them credit. They've done a really nice job.
Let's do one more.
Lincoln, you talked a little bit about this last spring, last fall, taking a little bit more of an active role in the defense. Just curious right now, are you, with 2 interim DCs, you feel like you're taking a little bit more of a role, and do you see that, as a point of emphasis just for yourself as a coach moving forward, maybe in the future of this program?
Yeah, I've definitely spent more time with those guys here the last couple of weeks, trying to help them where I can and give them perspective. And it's not I've been in that position too, and it's not the easiest position to step into, especially just considering the timing, circumstances, kind of where we're at in the season, where we're at in the schedule, all of that. So yeah, I want to provide support, as much support to those guys as I can, and I've certainly spent a little bit more time over there the last week and a half. And I think going forward, there's a lot of questions to be answered there. Obviously, a lot of this is going to change and unfold here over the next several weeks, and I think like anything, we'll make the changes that we're going to make. We'll get this group together. We'll decide what the best course of action is in terms of a person that we bring in, how that changes roles on the current staff, roles on the future staff. I mean, it's a really big picture question that we'll look forward to answering as this all evolves.